Hey folks, thanks for watching my video. If you are new to my channel, subscribe now and ring that bell for future notifications. Thanks. Hey guys, today we are reviewing Spider-Man Life Story number 5, and we are in the year of the 2000s. This book starts us off in New York City as Ben Reilly, Spider-Man, fights the evil vampire Morlun to the death. Morlun kills Ben Reilly, Spider-Man, and it is soon revealed to the public Peter Parker was behind the mask. His clone in this case. Flashing over to the real Peter Parker, we see him at his house in the woods as he is conversing with his daughter about her next steps in furthering her education. This conversation gets halted as the family is made aware what took place in New York City from the news. The death of Spider-Man? Peter's thoughts now are to basically keep his family safe and flee and buy himself time to get away from Morlun. However, his daughter Claire talks some sense into him and makes him realize that having a house in the woods in the middle of nowhere so he can't see trouble and react as Spider-Man would, that isn't taking responsibility. This is a fight Peter cannot run from, for his family, for Ben, and for the legacy of being Spider-Man. Flashing over to New York City, we see that Tony Stark is aware of the death of Spider-Man and plans on taking control of Parker Industries. The real Peter Parker has returned, and he speaks with the head of the Daily Bugle, Betty Brant, about the whole death of Spider-Man and tells her the truth about Ben Reilly being his clone. She said half of the public will buy this and half won't believe it. Either way, the cat's out of the bag and there's no putting it back. So I'm curious how this public identity will affect Peter Parker / Spider-Man going forward. Going on, we see that Peter Parker is walking up to his company, Parker Industries, and Tony Stark is standing right in front. Now, what's going on here? The effects of Civil War are still in place, as Tony Stark put in place this superhuman act, and any superhero that doesn't agree or sign it is captured and is either forced to comply or is imprisoned. Stark is aware that Spider-Man that recently died was a clone, and he is highly encouraging Peter Parker to turn over, his company and himself. Peter tells Tony to drop dead. Then Tony Stark sends out his A-list team to take Peter Parker down. Back at Peter's house, Morlun is trying to track down the real Spider-Man and runs into his wife and kids. Morlun chases MJ and the kids into the woods, attempting to hunt them down before the main spider course. However, these spider kids are smart and found out that Morlun is vulnerable when he is feasting / draining blood from a host. So Peter's son uses himself as bait to distract Morlun as Claire comes from behind with a huge wooden plank and rams it through Morlun's chest as he tried draining her brother. Now, to be honest, I'm not sure if her brother survived based on MJ's reaction, so we'll see what happens next. Back to Peter Parker in New York City. He is basically getting his ass handed to him by Tony Stark's A-list team as they beat the living piss out of Peter until he gives up or complies to the superhuman act. Soon enough, Captain America shows up with the Avengers and help Peter fight back against Iron Man's forces. Now, let me just say this. I find it really unique how, because of the superhuman act, Iron Man is being made to be the villain because of his jaded passions, which just causes a dynamic twist to the characters, but also familiar as, many comic book Marvel readers are knowledgeable of Civil War and the events and the film, and you can easily see where Tony Stark was, headstrong and had good intentions that ultimately made a mess. Spider-Man is in a place right now where he is forced to come out of the shadows. He only feels obligated to do it this one last time to stop Morlun. But as I said before, the cat is out of the bag, so I'm sure things are going to pick up quickly in the late life of Mr. Peter Parker and his kids and his wife. As Captain America and the Avengers fight Iron Man and his team, Peter disappears briefly into a hidden office in Parker Industries full of Spider-Man gear and suits. As a cosplayer, this looks very similar to my own personal closet. Spider-Man is back and in red and black. Now, to me, this felt like a slight hint to Miles Morales and the Far From Home suit based on design and colors. It's a cool looking suit. Not my first choice, but again, it's a cool looking suit. I like it. Now, it seems this suit has some type of electrical capabilities as Spider-Man disrupts and blasts Iron Man and his team, which also reminds me of Miles Morales as his character has similar capabilities. Coincidence? I think not. It turns out Tony Stark wasn't even there the whole time. He had a hologram of himself and was controlling the Iron Man suit, very similar to what we've seen in the MCU, specifically in Spider-Man, Homecoming with the tech and the sunglasses. The US Army and a SHIELD helicarrier are quickly approaching the heroes. Cap and Spidey are aware Iron Man and his forces will do everything they can to capture them. I love the commentary from Spider-Man here, where he's like, Cap, we are both old men and need to do what old men do. Leave the world a better place before we go. And that concludes this issue. The next chapter of Spider-Man's life story will have us in the year of 2010, and I speculate Peter's kids will have grown into spider heroes by now, especially seeing how this was touched on a few times throughout this issue. Plus, with them being mutants, either they will follow in their father's footsteps or Tony Stark will come after them. This entire series is just phenomenal. I'm excited and I'm nervous to see how it all concludes. I do have many questions though, like, will we see Eddie Brock? What happened to the symbiote when it appeared to have bonded with Kraven the Hunter, or did it kill him? Will Miles Morales be implemented in the last years of Spider-Man's life? Comment below and let me know what you all think will happen next. Also, if you are new here, hit that subscribe button and ring that bell to join the Z Squad. Thank you so very much for watching, and until next issue, guys, wham, bam, boom.